What's up, everybody? I am Alex Lajas, and today we are watching Dark Side of the Ring. We are watching season 4, episode 2, which is called Shattered, the Magnum TA story. I'm so excited to get into this tonight. But before I do, I just want to thank all of you guys for joining me tonight. This is I believe, third year that we have done these Dark Side of the Ring watch-alongs. We're doing it live on YouTube and Twitch, so we'll see how it goes. And we could maybe follow this along in the future, but we usually do it on YouTube, and I want to thank you guys, especially the day oneers that were there. I looked back last week on my progress of my Dark Side of the Ring watch-alongs, and oh boy, have we come a long way, especially with the set. So thank you so much for joining me yet again for another season of Dark Side of the Ring. Of course, this is not the first episode. This is the second episode that we are going to watch tonight. The first episode with Chris Candido and Sunny Tammy Sitch. With that video is up on my YouTube channel now. I pre-recorded something because, like I said, I was at a Paramore concert last week, so I went to go do that. However, I am back this week for the Magnum TA episode, and I'm really excited to get into this because you know what? I don't know anything about Magnum TA. I truly don't. I don't know anything about him. The only thing that I do know is that he pretty much was in no, that's not the term. Pretty much Hulk Hogan kind of stole his gimmick. At least that's what I hear whenever Magnum TA's name comes about. So I don't know too much about him. I am excited to get into this episode of Dark Side of the Ring, and I also like going into episodes not knowing anything about the subject. I like to just go in and experience the episode and experience the presentation that they have for every single subject, for every single person that they are, presenting throughout the seasons. And then after the episode, I go and I do my own research. That's usually how I like to watch Dark Side of the Ring, but let me know how you like to watch Dark Side of the Ring, and also let me know what your favorite episode has been. It's been interesting to see a lot of people's, or to read a lot of people's experience with Dark Side of the Ring, and especially those that are getting into wrestling or back into wrestling. I mean, it is a great show to watch, especially if you like these kind of, documentary true crime. I'm a true crime watcher. I love true crime, especially when I watch it on Netflix. I think Netflix has some of the best true crime documentaries. Words are hard, you guys. It's 10 p.m. Eastern over here in New York, and we have poor air quality apparently. So some of us can't go outside. But I am excited to get into this. But yes, there are a lot of people that are getting back into wrestling or starting out with wrestling that don't know about some of the stories that have been addressed, especially in the first season. Because if you think about it, the first season covers a lot of basic things in professional wrestling. Sort of, at least for like the common wrestling fans, right? The Montreal Screwjob, a great place to start. We had Macho Man and Miss Elizabeth, also a great place to start, especially for Macho Man. He's so mainstream. Everybody knows Macho Man. So this is a good show to introduce a little bit more wrestling to some people. So tonight, I am very, very, very much looking forward to this episode. So of course, if you're on YouTube, feel free to send in any super chats, extra thoughts that you would like me to read out to the crowd that are watching right now. But of course, on Twitch, all notifications. I cannot see too much, but I will keep up to date with the notifications as much as I can throughout the entire chat. But hi, my name is Ruin. Thank you for subscribing tier 1 for 4 months over in the YouTube lands. If you're like, I don't know what that means, I don't know what you're talking about, maybe consider joining me on twitch.tv/Queen of the Ring. But I want to read some of what you're saying. Yeah, crew tribes. You know, that is not the first time this week that I have mixed up words like that. That's such a Mean Girls thing. They did it in the Mean Girls movie, and I was doing it in real life. So I watched an ungodly amount of Forensic Files when I was in Vegas. That's what I watched too, and sometimes these episodes remind me of that. All you damn Zoomers don't not knowing who Magnum TA is. I am not a Zoomer. I don't know how old you think I am, but I am absolutely not Gen Z. I am millennial, or maybe even elder millennial, but I take offense to that. My favorite episode so far is Owen, Hart's, and New Jack. New Jack was surprisingly a fun episode to watch. As fucked up as that may sound, that was surprisingly a fun episode to watch. The Owen Hart episode fucked me up. And I think this is a common thing because I was talking about it with a friend earlier last week. The thing with Dark Side of the Ring is that it emotionally fucks you up as a human, right? As a general, Jesus Christ, words are hard. That's my brand. As a general, just person existing in society, Dark Side of the Ring is very hard to watch. However, if you are a wrestling fan, it's even harder to watch because you understand everything that's happening, especially with Owen Hart, because there are a lot of people that kind of know something about wrestling, and they definitely know about the Owen Hart situation. That is a very common knowledge just in general about wrestling, and especially WWE. So that episode, being a fan and having watched the pay-per-view live as a kid, fucked me up. It fucked me up so bad. And that's the thing with these episodes. It's very informative. It's eye-opening, but it definitely makes you think about being a fan, or think about experiencing wrestling and experiencing your favorite people putting their bodies on the line. Like, especially last week, what we watched, Chris Candido putting his body on the line, sacrificing, healing himself for the business. And that happens so often in professional wrestling. So it's very, very interesting to see that. I am going to pull this up. That Speedball shirt is on point. Thank you. Shout out to Mike Bailey, Speedball. We love them so much, especially their New Japan run. I still need to watch the tournament, but shout out to Speedball for sure. Love them. Also, if you're on the Twitch lands, go follow Speedball if I can get a quick shout out for him. He always watches wrestling on his YouTube or on his Twitch channel, and he's actually was watching wrestling earlier today, so definitely go check him out for sure. Howie, how's it going? Hope you're doing well. I do have some cool news. Oh yes, that Beauty and the Beast cup, I used it during Quizlemania. So that was a fun one. The screw job was so well done. The Owen one was good too. I also liked the Chris Benoit one as well. You know, Chris Benoit and Owen Hart. If you grew up a fan, like, you know, right? Like, you know. But the Chris Benoit especially, I do like how they took care of the CTE portion of his story. So that's definitely one. Oh, what's your favorite episode out of all the seasons? My favorite episode out of all the seasons, I do really like the Luna Vachon episode. I like that they gave her a little bit more of a spotlight as well. Um, but this episode is about to begin, folks. Let's get into it. Let's get into the artistry of Magnum TA. Shout out to Megabyte Ronnie, who plays Magnum TA in this episode. Recently retired, but he did an amazing job. Magnum, respectfully, you know what? He was kind of hot. Not gonna lie, he was kind of hot. Damn, guys, thank you so much. Thank you for all the love for the Speedball shirt. I got this before a friend of mine went to see Speedball at Prestige Wrestling. And from my impression, I think that was the only time that they had this shirt live. And maybe it went on uh, online. But I was like, can you please get me that shirt? Because I need it so bad. So yeah, go support Speedball, y'all. Go support Mike Bailey. Yes, Megabyte did have a couple great matches on Dark. Indeed he did. No, tonight is Magnum TA. Oop, Hulk Hogan. Uh-oh, Hulk Hogan. We're already getting into it. I love the way they present the older footage. I'm sure they put a filter on it or something, but I like how it looks like a VHS. Or am I sounding super millennial with that? Woo! Wow! It's Jim Cornette. You know what? It's Dark Side of the Ring. This dude has been on this show for 4 seasons at this point. That's all I gotta say about that. Yeah, exactly. He really just knew everyone in the business. Although the funniest thing is Jim Cornette and Vince Russo just getting at it with each other, and they're not even in the same room. That's honestly just the shining moment for me. Millennials don't even remember tracking on a VH. What do you mean by tracking? Like recording shows? That was my WWE network back in the day. Was all the blank VHS tapes. My timestamp right now is 4:48. But I will say I'm on Sling and Sling is awful, so we may not be in sync. You guys hear about Denise Salcedo going off about Sling. I have the same issues, to be honest. Oh, the lines on the tapes as it plays. Oh. There he is. So again, I don't know much about Magnum TA. Uh but it's pretty cool that he's still around to tell his story. Hey, it's Ronnie. That's just gonna be me the entire show. Spinny Hub, I love that. Always welcome to come in, even if you guys aren't watching along. The company is so appreciated. I love it. We're all just hanging out together as wrestling fans. Oh boy. I've heard about this throughout the promos. Do you know how much of a sleazeball you have to be to do this? Especially in wrestling. It is easy to break into the business. Especially back then, so it seemed. Oh, he got the money. In some places, you do need wrestling license, but a wrestling license, it's like $10, $20. Like New York. I'm pretty sure New York has a strict athletic commission. I'm surprised Magnum TA is a topic. I've never heard a bad thing about him. Usually, the show. No, I wouldn't say usually the show is about crazy personalities. I mean, it's the wrestling business. It's full of crazy personalities, but I mean, it's very informative. You know who Magnum TA looks like in these photos? He low key looks like the actor from The Bear. I don't know what his name is. In that photo, especially where he's smiling. Tom Selleck. I mean, he does kind of look like Tom Selleck. Jeremy Allen White, is that his name? Yeah, he looks like that. I've never seen the show, but he looks like that actor. Dusty was always had a vision, always like saw the potential in people. Jesus Christ. It's like tonguing that woman down. Jeez. I mean, he did have the look. Especially during that time, right? Oh, the cliffhanger going into the commercial. Ah, you love to see it. You love to see it. Speaking of, with a super chat, thank you so much, Will Meister. I highly appreciate it, guys. Thank you so much for the super chat. Like last season with super chats, I will read them during the commercial breaks. So we usually discuss how we're feeling about the episode during our commercial breaks. But Will Meister, thank you so much. I donated to say that I'm also on Sling and can confirm that it's not great, but it works. Also, what up, Alex? And didn't Speedball have his own episode? His own episode on Dark Side of the Ring? I don't think so. But thank you so much. Yeah, it works. It's not the best. It's not the best when you want to rewind and especially like screenshot something to tweet. It is absolutely not the best, but I'm glad that I'm not alone with suffering with Sling. But thank you so much for the super chat. I appreciate it. But I saw why say in the chat that you wanted a Dark Side of the Ring episode. There's actually a Dark Side of the Ring episode about Andre the Giant. I assume that you're talking about Andre the Giant. There's actually a whole ass movie, like documentary movie. I think it's like 2 hours long on HBO about Andre the Giant. So highly suggest watching that if you do want more Andre the Giant documentation form in any type of way, highly suggest doing that. Highly suggest doing it. Yeah, I saw that Denise got rid of Sling. I need to do the same thing. I need to get a VPN or something. I actually don't need a VPN, but I need to figure something else out. So we'll see what comes to me. Yes, there is an Iron Sheik documentary as well. I believe that was on Netflix for a while. I'm not sure if it's still on Netflix, but it might be on Prime Video. So correct me if I'm wrong, but that is on Prime. There's also a Jake the Snake documentary called The Resurrection of Jake the Snake that was on Netflix. It may not be on Netflix anymore. It might be on Prime as well. And they've also fit in some Scott Hall stuff with that documentary about Jake the Snake because it's about DDP saving him, and he did the same thing for Scott Hall, and it talks about how they both got clean and they were both able to enter to the WWE Hall of Fame, which is what they wanted to begin with. So I think you guys should check those out if you want a little bit more. Like, there's a lot of good documentaries. I mean, they've made so many documentaries about Ric Flair. There's so many documentaries about Ric Flair, which is like, we get it. It's like, you're not going to tell me anything that I already don't know, honey. We don't need another Ric Flair documentary. There is a China documentary. I have not watched it, and I don't know. I believe it is on Vice, or it was on Vice, the China documentary. I don't know how I feel about watching that, but we'll get to that in a second after the next commercial break. We're back on, folks. Oh my god, I remember those kayfabe tapes. Oh, you just took me back. Thank you, Scotty. That's the confirmation right there, folks. Check it out on Prime Video. I mean, yeah, he had the full package. Ooh, and he was good in promos. She's cute. What is that? God, these photos are so 80s. I love it. I mean, he has the look to be marketed that way. But if I was married to him, I wouldn't be too happy about that either. That's a dope shirt. That Magnum TA shirt that those people were wearing, that's a dope shirt. No comment. Especially back then, the handlebar mustache with that mullet. Ooh, ooh, Jesus Christ. That photo's great. That photo of him in the Speedo is great. Uh oh. Jeez. Yeah. Is that like, see, I don't know any of this. What? Let's watch that together. They're in like a stadium. Where is that? I missed the date and the location of that. Okay, Greensboro, North Carolina. All right, we're on the fourth match. Very bloody. We're on the fifth match in Atlanta, Georgia. This is 1986. Damn, do you hear that crowd too? And this is when wrestling was real. Before kayfabe was broken and like the crowd really went wild for him. Not that they don't today, but it was just a whole different ball game back then. Oh. And like I'm saying, it was on a whole different level back then. Mm. Oh. That would have been. That would have been. That title is beautiful. Oh, he didn't even become champion yet? Like, ever? I didn't know that. I thought he held a championship. Is that supposed to be Dusty? I don't know about that shake and go wig, honey, for Dusty. Ooh, look at that hair. That shaggy mullet. Oh, we're about to get into the accident. Oh, no. Oh, man. We're getting into it. This is it. Oh, man. So, yeah, the Party City wig. What was that Party City wig for Dusty Rhodes? Come on. It was looking a little like, that was looking crunchy. Anyway, enough of the Dusty Rhodes wig. Thoughts? What are we getting at? Okay, so, like I said, going into this episode, I thought he was like already champion, like he was going. My impression of this episode, and I don't know why, but it's just what my brain led into, was that he was already champion. He was already like thriving. So it was correct. He was. But my impression was that he was already champion and he got into the accident. I know that he got into an accident and then he just wasn't able to wrestle. I don't know the exact specifics, but we're obviously going to get into it after the commercial break. But again, I didn't know that much. This is all brand new information and it is fascinating. And this is what I'm talking about with not knowing different subjects going into the episode. It's like, oh, okay. So it seemed like Magnum TA, I mean, he had the look, especially back then, that mustache, that mullet, the physique, the fashion, being a ladies' man in that regard too. Like he had the full ass package and he was absolutely going to be a superstar, be a megastar, and maybe if he didn't get into that accident, he probably would have brought in some serious competition with WWF at that time. 86, did they just have their WrestleMania? Let's see. WrestleMania 1. What was WrestleMania 1? WrestleMania 1 was 1985. So, March 31st, 1985. And he was having these matches with Nikita Koloff in 86. So, he was popping off, as the kids say. He was popping off, and then life happens. They didn't bring up Tully? What happened to Tully? Why should they be bringing him up? What happened there? Why did they not talk about the I Quit match between Magnum TA and Tully Blanchard? What? Is that a very important match within his career that they did not bring up? Whoops. That was the year of WrestleMania 2, and WrestleMania 2 sucked. Yeah. I actually watched WrestleMania 2 recently. I just had it on in the background. Yeah, it fucking sucks. Oh, are we back? We're back, folks. We're back. Yeah, I guess that's... That's something to research about after the show is why they didn't bring up Tully Blanchard. Especially back then when you felt invincible and you were on top. Uh-oh. Oh, and he won. And it was raining. Ooh. What? Oh, shit. He couldn't move? Holy shit. And this is a road that he normally takes every single day. What? Oh, and they were still together. Ooh, this soundtrack. Ooh. It's like the organs. Ooh. Holy shit, he got fucked up. Oh my god. Oh damn, that sounds brutal. That sounds so brutal. Oh boy. Fatlisses. I do not know how to say your screen name, but thank you so much for the 200 bits over on Twitch. Pride Month biddies. You have always been great entertainment since I first seen you win on Quizzlemania. Thank you, Queen of the Ring. Thank you for the gay biddies. Those are my favorite kind of biddies. So thank you. Yeah, we're pretty lucky to hear him tell his own tale. I mean, damn. And that's so tricky, especially driving. Like, I don't know how to drive, so everything he was saying about the car, I'm going to be honest, don't really know what he was saying, only because I don't know how to drive. So I don't know. But essentially, I get the gist. There was a divot, the car, the wheels, and then he spun, and then he hit the telephone pole. I get the gist of it. He was in a really bad car accident. But oh my gosh, the toll that has to take on you mentally, not, I mean, for him 1000%, but for everybody else in his life. And I I just think that is one that is extremely tragic. But that is wild to think that you were climbing to the top of the mountain and you were extremely successful, and then it all of a sudden just went away like that. Because, and it's like you're still alive, you just can never wrestle ever again. Jeez. Yeah, that last segment, and that's Dark Side of the Ring. Dark Side of the Ring usually leaves us speechless, you know? Oh man, that was hard to watch. I am looking forward to seeing how this story ends, because that has to be a lot. And the recovery for that, too. Oh man. I think they did show a picture of the car after the wreck, if I'm not mistaken. He's very lucky he wasn't killed. He's very lucky he wasn't killed, and he's very lucky that they were even able to rescue him from that car, because it sounds like they completely destroyed the car to get him out of there, and they couldn't even airlift him either. I will say, and maybe this sounds fucked up to say in hindsight, but I would consider it a win that it was mainly he was trying to gain control of the car and not any negligence or, drug use or drunk driving or anything like that. Because if it was, he would probably die. That car looks wild. Tony Schiavone. Oh my god. And I can imagine fans calling the hospital to see how he is. Oh shit. She still has that? What? Holy shit, he was huge. Especially back then, he was huge. Oh, yeah. Oh, that's so fucked. Yeah, to keep up with the kayfabe. Oh, shit. They snuck him in. That's wild. That's. Oh, man. Mm. I was gonna say, he better not fuck her over. Don't feel horrible. But it was just such a freak accident. Like, you can't blame yourself, dude. Oh my god, and especially that time, news traveled so slow. He had to come back from Japan to hear about these news. Oh, Dusty. So much pressure. Damn. I mean, that's a great spread to. That's a great spread. That's a good idea. That is a good idea. Because that's the, you turn Nikita and you make him the face and you convince the audience that he, you know, is rooting for Magnum TA's recovery. As we've seen, he had his fans and they showed out. So really, really interesting the way that they covered that, especially in what is it, PWI? Yeah, that was really interesting stuff. But we've got a super chat from Mike Parker. Mike, welcome in. I've seen that name before throughout the Dark Side of the Ring watch-alongs. Good to see you back, friend. Don't know if they will show it, but was a touching moment when he came out with Dusty and Nikita at the Crockett Cup in 1987. We still got a couple of minutes left from the episode, so fingers crossed that we do see that moment. But Mike, thank you so much for the super chat. I highly appreciate it. So I do want to say the amount that one of my favorite things to learn and continue to learn about the business from that time, from this era in the 80s, is how much dedication these wrestlers went through to keep kayfabe and not to ever break it, to keep kayfabe. The fact that they had to sneak in Flair, the Four Horsemen, and everyone else, like all of the baby faces, or the heels, the heels. The fact that they had to sneak in the heels in the middle of the night with police escort. And could you imagine a policeman being like, oh my God, this shit's crazy. And like how much they had to tell the police officer of like, don't break kayfabe. The fact that they were escorted into the hospital in the middle of the night just to pay him a visit, just to see if he's okay, is wild. And to me, as a fan, that is the most fascinating thing about professional wrestling back in the 80s and how these wrestlers kept kayfabe. The amount of lengths, levels, obstacles that they had to go through just to keep kayfabe is some of the most fascinating stuff to me as a wrestling fan, and especially when they cover it on Dark Side of the Ring. I love that kind of stuff. It's an art form, right? It's an art form to keep kayfabe, and I think that they did a very, very good job. So congratulations to them. Smiley over at Twitch, thank you so much for subscribing. Tier 1 for 19 months. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Happy Pride to you as well. Yeah, police escort in hospitals, like that's wild. And the fact that they had to do that in the middle of the night in a situation where fans were outside, fans were calling, candlelight vigils, all that stuff. But we are back with the episode, folks. Those glasses are great that the woman is wearing. Oh, there we go. The Crockett Cup. First appearance. Oh, I'm ready for this. Oh my God, with the cane and the sling. Still had the Canadian tuxedo on. Oh, damn. This is rough to watch. Oh, Dusty. Especially back then, it's a freak accident. And again, it has nothing to do with anything other than a freak accident. Was he able to be a producer or something, or a booker? Okay, color commentator. Oh my god. I'm sure if it was today with cell stem cell, right? Stem cells, maybe it would have been figured out. Who knows? I mean, she was already pretty much out the door, to be honest. She found like photos and everything. Yeah. Especially after you're helping someone by their bedside in a hospital. Oh man, look at his face. Oh, he was not happy about what he was doing. Yep. Yep. I truly believe that as well. Another commercial break, folks. I mean, after witnessing this story and to see the magnitude of his star power with people, with the audience, and again, especially back then when all of this was real and they were keeping kayfabe, you think wrestling fans are hardcore now? You think wrestling fans eat this up as if it's all real? You have no idea when it comes to the professional wrestling back in the 80s, folks. Like, if you hated a heel, not you in particular, but let's say back then when someone hated a heel, they considered stabbing the heel. There's a famous story, I think, of the cage match with Dusty Rhodes and Ric Flair, and I think the Four Horsemen were in the ring in the cage match, and they couldn't get out because the audience were surrounding the cage and they were going to kill them. So, like, it's another level back then. So, to be a fan, especially to be a fan of Magnum TA and, you know, calling the hospital to see how he is, calling even the promoters if they could to see how he is, to go to the hospital and send flowers, the fact that they had to turn off the phones because they were calling for him so much, and then to come to this, like, that mentally fucks you up so bad, so bad. So yeah, oh man, I just feel so bad, but again, he is extremely lucky that it was just a freak accident, and it was something that, again, it was something that, like, ooh, previews for next week. It was something that was purely a freak accident, and it didn't ruin his career in that sense of reputation. Reputation. don't know much about that that subject either. He would have been huge. He would have been so huge. Yeah. In an instant. And your direction in life will change in an instant. That must have been so sad for Terry when Dusty passed away, too. What? When was that? Oh. Who is she? Oh, that's Tully's ex wife? So he hasn't completely left the wrestling business. Damn, he's a quadriplegic? Oh my god. Look at his scooter in the back. Oh, he's doing meet and greets. It makes me very sad to see him like that. Yeah. Yeah, for sure. I mean, he has a very compelling story in professional wrestling. Yeah. Well, that was a good story. That was a fascinating story, folks. Um, you know what? Happy he's still kicking it, but I do have to say it is kind of sad. I mean, there's also a dark side to the business as well to see how much damage wrestling does to somebody's body. Like, you don't actually see it until you go to these smaller wrestling shows or these wrestling conventions, and you see how they struggle, how much they struggle, like just walking to the table. And it's for Magnum TA, Terry Allen. I am so happy that he is getting the recognition now, especially his story being told on Dark Side of the Ring is so needed. I mean, that is a true lesson to learn just in life in general, right? That anything can change in a moment like that, but especially in professional wrestling. And we say it all the time, like, especially in the ring. And this situation didn't even happen in the ring. It was just a freak accident on the road. But it's good to see that his story is being told. And it's even better to see that he's telling his own story now. And he's had the time to process it all. And, like, that's fucking tough. That is tough, and that is jarring to deal with firsthand, where you are in this freak accident that you tried to control, and there was just no way that you could have. And you controlled it to a point where you're thankfully still alive. Questionable, but you're thankfully still alive. And you were on the top of the mountain in this business that you were absolutely thriving in, so much more than really like anyone else in professional wrestling, right? Like, he was just, his star power, like we've seen on this documentary, his star power was so huge for such a short amount of time. And the fact that he was set up in this promotion in NWA, where he was set up to win the championship, he was set up to have a feud with Ric Flair after the Ric Flair and Dusty Rhodes feud, to have an upcoming feud with Ric Flair, and then you have Dusty Rhodes behind you all the way. You had any wrestler, think about it, any wrestler that's oh my god, the words just left me. Any wrestler that's aspiring to make it in this business, imagine you had something set up like that, where you were the fucking man anywhere you went, literally went boot shopping, and you had people fainting over you. You were the fucking man on top of the mountain, and you didn't even have a world championship yet. You were about to be set up with a feud with Ric Flair, who is like the biggest name in professional wrestling even today. So imagine back then, and so much that we've heard from the NXT Black and Gold babies, you know, how much they love and appreciate Dusty Rhodes, and to see the work that Dusty Rhodes has put into this younger generation. Like, we know how much Dusty has a vision for professional wrestling. We know how much Dusty, you know, takes care of individuals that he like motivates and that he sees potential in. And you had all of the elements for you until one night when you're driving back home on a road that you are familiar with, and you just get into a freak accident. And even if you wanted to make it into this business or not, even if you had the intentions to be in this business or not, that mentally takes a goddamn toll on you. It just does. It has to. And especially now, like, it must feel bittersweet to know what your future would have been. To actually know what your future would have been. Because you see people that you've worked side by side with be so successful 40, 30 years later, and you knew, like, now that you are in 2023, now you have the vision of what could have been in 1986, and it just instantly goes away. I feel for Terry Allen. I feel for him. And again, you know me, I always preach about mental health, and that is something that would be so rough for any normal human being to go through in any type of business when you have that leverage that he did in NWA, that Magnum TA did. Can't imagine. But did not know anything about Magnum TA going into this episode. I'm so used to saying pay-per-views during these watch-alongs. I did not know anything about Magnum TA going into this episode, and now I do. I know so much more than I did an hour ago. So I'm happy to take this journey with you guys over on Twitch and the YouTube land. So very, very happy to experience this with you guys. I don't know if you did this, but which of these seasons episodes are you looking forward to watching? So next week, the Graham family, was that the one? The Grahams family, I don't know anything about. So it looks pretty goddamn wild. So looking forward to seeing that. Abdullah the Butcher, I'm looking forward to seeing. Doink the Clown, very interested to see that one. And the Bash at the Beach. Those are the ones that come to mind for this season that I'm looking forward to watching, especially the Bash and the Beach episode. I know a lot of you guys were popping over that, especially on Twitter and the Discord. So really, really looking forward to watching that with you guys. But that's our watch along. That is our stream, folks. Thank you guys so much for joining me for tonight's episode of Dark Side of the Ring. Make sure to, if you're in the YouTubes, hit the bell notifications and subscribe. Give this a thumbs up as well. That helps me so much getting into the algorithm, especially, you know, I'm starting to do these streams and I'm starting to do more stuff on my YouTube, so this definitely helps me. This is a good start, and I'm really looking forward to doing more of these watch-alongs for Dark Side of the Ring. So thank you for joining me. And until next time, guys, I will see you very soon. I am Alex Lajas, and I hope you have a great night.